This thing's in the way. All right. You've maybe tried it, but you stopped using it for whatever reason. For those of you who don't know what it is a piece of software you put on any machine, any Windows machine. Could be on a just spare desktop you have. I have it on a dedicated server. But this is the main outline of what it is. There is a community of IT pros and vendors out there. I don't know what the MSP support is. There's a knowledge base. You can purchase stuff through it. I haven't used a lot of this stuff. The main three things that I use are the help desk and ticketing, the network monitoring, and the network inventory. It will go out and, if you want it to, you can turn it off. Will scan your network and pick up as many devices as it can and give you basic information about it. It is constantly improving. It's on version 7.2 right now. 7.3 is coming out with some new features. If you haven't tried it in a while, maybe you tried it on 5 or you tried it on 6, it's much better. They're consistently getting better on this one. The main part is the inventory, and you can also monitor your network. Use the standard protocols for gathering information. Categorizes your devices automatically, but you can also move that around. You can customize monitors. I want to monitor these servers, and if they're offline for more than 5 minutes, send me an email or submit or make a ticket now. That's a new function that it can automatically make a ticket. Built-in functions, you can compare two devices that are similar to see what's going on. It will launch remote control, VNC or RDP. You can ping it, look it up. If you have a log-me-in rescue account, you can launch it directly from there as well. You can see their current bandwidth. Some of these tools I haven't used very much, others I've used every day. You can see a lot of the information that it is here. It'll gather all your serial number, asset tag number, those kind of things. And it doesn't display all the information it actually picks up here. You can actually dial in and even see screen resolution and what type of keyboard layout it has and all these things. So it is very helpful when knowing, okay, this user's saying they're having a problem with their mouse, what type of mouse do they have? And you can actually see that in there. It's not just about the devices. It manages people. I track my Microsoft software licenses through it. And so if it detects a new Office license out there, you can go in and say, apply this license to it, and it lets you know that you are in compliance with whatever. It doesn't actually go out to Microsoft and figure out if you are. You tell it, here's my key, here's how many licenses I have, and it'll tell you, oh no, you've used 26, and you only have, you told me we only had 25, so we have a problem here. You can associate devices with users so that you can track issues based on user and device, which is helpful. I've reset your password for the 7th time this year. It actually happened to me just a few weeks ago. You can do cloud services. You can track your ISP. It'll do your lag on your ISP automatically. I use it for Office 365, monitoring the size of my mailboxes. It'll also automatically get out to your domain registrar and see when your domain's about to expire. And so it'll help you out with an email. Hey, your domain's about to expire in 15 days. You better fix that up. Cloud services, this is a new thing, just came out in 7. Different types of cloud services, Dropbox, LastPass, TeamViewer, these kind of things are automatically scanned for based on applications installed, but also protocols used. So it'll alert you, hey, this user put Dropbox on their machine, or they're visiting the Dropbox website. You might want to, if your church doesn't want that, you'd be able then to approach the user and say, what's going on? You storing anything super important over there? So this is a new thing that just came out in 7. You can turn off these notifications if you don't want to. All this stuff is fairly customizable. This is the dashboard. I'll show you mine here in just a minute, see how I really use it. You can do all types of these little widgets that are on here, telling you all kinds of different things about what's on your network, what's going on. And you can add a whole mess of different widgets and those kind of things. 7.3, one of the things that they are bringing out is vendors, and just any programmer can write these types of things. And they're going to have an app store where you can either sell them for free, it's not really selling, give them for free, or you can sell them, and so any developers in the room, that's a 70-30 split, that you get 70, they get 30, or whatever you charge. So that's something new that's coming out there. You can manage your help desk and your users. The 7.0, they call it Help Desk 2.0, that just came out with 7 is much faster than what you're used to if you've ever used it before. and it was kind of clunky, kind of slow. This is much faster, much more responsive. You can, there's plugins for doing checklists automatically. So for instance, I have a checklist set up that if I say this is a printer supply issue, it adds a checklist automatically based on all I had to say was that it's a printer supply issue, and it will say, okay, well this person needs to do this, and this person needs to do this, so I check it off first, and then I just email the rest of the people what's going on. They are developing sub-tickets that are going to be coming out soon, and also collaboration between different technicians. So you can say this ticket actually needs 2 or 3 technicians on it, and you can collaborate between the 2 of you and see all the notes right there. They do have a mobile app for, I guess, everything at this point. Maybe not Microsoft, I guess not Microsoft. But it will, even when you're not on your network, it'll let you know that any ticket's been open. Even if you don't have your Spiceworks app open to the public, it still sends the actual, you have a new ticket, but you can't see what the ticket is through there. But if you are on your network, or if your network is, if you have your help desk open to the public, you can log in and see what the ticket is, add comments, see who it was, those kind of things. You can troubleshoot it on the go. So that's very useful. I don't want to have to carry my laptop to the user. I can type the notes on my phone on the way back to my office. It's very quick. System requirements are really low. Depending on how big your network is, they do say if you've got more than 1,000 IP devices on your network, it's probably not the solution for you. So we're sitting at about 400 or so, and I've adjusted my scan times to where it's only a daily scan instead of every 2 hours or something like that. And it runs fairly well. I haven't had to restart the server in many, many moons, and I know a lot of people who have used it in the past and stopped using it. That was one of their biggest complaints. It's so buggy, you have to restart it all the time, and I haven't had to do that. There is a community, like I said before. There's other IT pros out there that you can get in the community and chat with. There's also in-person gatherings, local Spice Corps meetings happen, so you can meet with other IT guys, not necessarily in a church setting, so you have to mind that. You're in the secular world there. But also Spice World. I've been twice now to the annual IT conference in Austin because it's an hour away from me and my boss doesn't have to pay for a plane ticket. There's tutorials online, Spiceworks University, and so it's pretty neat. Some things coming out in 7.3, which is coming soon. USB peripheral scanning, so you'll be able to scan those USB hard drives that have been attached and see how large those hard drives is, those kind of things. Help desk ticket collaboration, like I said before. Scheduled reporting. I have a purchasing coordinator who purchases all of our toner. Right now, I have to run the report every 2 weeks and send it to her as an Excel sheet. In 7.3, it will do that for me. I won't have to touch it anymore. There'll be the App Store. There'll be more coming. There's also a new product that they're developing. I'm going to show you. It's still in beta. It's called the Network Monitor, and it shows they recommend up to 10 devices. You can put more on, but you can put servers and networking devices on there, and it will gather real-time information about that and warn you in pretty colors. And I only have less than a minute left, so I want to show that actually really quick. So this, and of course, there it is. So this is, I've got my hosts on here, and I've got my core switch and my ASA, and it is monitoring in real time, and it's telling me, it's going to refresh now, of course, because I hit the refresh button. But it also, you can schedule, that's what I'm looking for, alerts and what your thresholds are for alerts, and it'll email you, or it'll just change the color here, and you can do those types of things. I got 20 seconds left. I don't know if I'll be able to get to my dashboard, but from here, real quick, you can see I've got my alert set up, my event history. I have a unit trends backup system, so it monitors all that stuff. But again, if you haven't tried it ever, it's free, go for it. If you have tried it before and you weren't a big fan, try it again, give it a try, it's free. I do have t-shirts up here they gave me. I'm supposed to get pictures and give them out, but feel free to come up and get these t-shirts. I'll just leave them right here. Thank you very much.
My name is Doran. I work with a company called Solerant, and actually full-time at, hold on. Help desk, this is Doran. How can I help you?
Oh, hey, Doran. I'm glad I got you. This here is David. I'm really frustrated right now.
Okay, what's up?
Well, so a friend of mine sent me this link to a video in my email, and he said I really need to check it out. It's about this Nyan cat. Have you heard of the Nyan cat? Is that like one of them laggards?
Well...
Anyway, I can't play it because every time I go to the YouTube, I get this message about Flash Player. It says it needs to be installed.
Well, I'm sorry about that. Nyan Cat is a must-see for sure. Hold on just a second. Let me find your computer, and I'll push the update for Flash out to your computer just a second. While we're waiting, how's it going?
Oh, it's pretty good, but, you know, this crazy thing happened to me yesterday.
Okay. What happened?
Well, I got a call from a guy at Microsoft, and he said that he was ready to help me.
Help you with what?
Well, I got one of them viruses, and so I gave him my credit card number, the church's credit card number, because I thought, well, he seems like he's legit from Microsoft up there in Washington.
Well,
So I gave him the credit card, and he said he'll call me back. So I don't know. What do you think?
I'll call you back in about 15 minutes on the credit card deal, but in the meantime, can you check and see if you can watch the video?
Oh, yeah. Let me see if the YouTube works now. Oh, I think it's working.
That sounds like Nyan Cat. All right, then. I'll talk to you in 15 minutes. Well, okay. So hopefully you know that wasn't real, but it happens every day in the help desk. And so I want to talk about uncomplicating our software updates and deployment. There are many ways to do this. You could visit, this is my personal favorite, you can visit each workstation. You can use built-in Microsoft tools, or you can use other third-party products. But PDQ makes it easier than any other product that I've found, and it's affordable. It offers things like being able to update Adobe Reader and Flash, like we just talked about, Java, QuickTime in iTunes. You can do deployments like Microsoft Office, and browsers like Firefox and Chrome. Just push it out through the software. Again, the software is called PDQ Deploy. They also have an inventory tool. There's a free version, and I'll get into that in a second, but there's a free, pro, and enterprise license that I'll talk to you about towards the end. So what I would like to do, what I want to do is demonstrate how easy it truly is. I just pushed Flash to a computer back in Houston, but I want to show you how easy, and instead of me showing you, I called the company Admin Arsenal, and they're going to show us real quick. Oh, wait. Can you roll the video up there instead? Audio. Do we have audio? They're getting it plugged in. Yeah. Sorry. I'll still finish. All right, start it over. Video.
Hey, I'm Shane. I'm Wes from Mirazon. I want to thank Doran and Solerant for inviting us to take a couple of minutes and talk to everybody at the IT Roundtable about PDQ deploy. Let's talk about how quickly we can deploy a package. Okay, so we've got Adobe Flash. It's in our package library. So I'm going to do it for you. Go ahead and import that. Obviously, you can also build your own packages for other applications that aren't in the package library. Sure. Now, to deploy the package, it's as simple as clicking on it and then you deploy it once. You can type in the name of your computer, your targets up here, or you can choose targets from something like Active Directory or PDQ inventory. We'll go to our domain, we do Abraham and iCloud, and let's see, yeah, that's it. Push it up, say OK. Notice those are the two computers that are in there, and we can deploy now. You'll see just how fast it can actually deploy Java. Or in this case, sorry, Flash. But Java is simple. True. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about pricing. To buy this, come out to our website at www.adminarsenal.com and hit buy. And I just want to point out right here, your government and educational customers, which also includes nonprofits,
Then you get a 10% discount. And you have to create administrators, it's free, and proceed to check out.
The nice thing about it is you don't have to pay for them, you just have to pay for the number of administrators.
Yep.
You think that performance done?
Probably. Let's see, it's successful on these two, and still running on that move to see when we update, which is the last step. Here we go, done. Now they have the latest flash. I'm Shane.
I'm Lance. Thanks for watching.
So as you can see, it really is that simple, that quick to do the install. If you can make a package for it, you can push it out, which I know is not true for, say, some of the Microsoft tools. You can't push out everything. You can use different parameters so that you can stop different prompts. Like if you install Office, you could customize what parameters pop up in your package and push that out. You can remove software. You can reboot the machines. It works with a multi-site. So in our case, I'll show you in just a moment. Well, I'll go ahead and show you now. What we have is we have several deployments that we just install. We download them from their library, and then we just go, and what we have here is a little package install library. So these include everything that we need to deploy a new computer. And so instead of imaging a computer, we just get the new computer, hit deploy, and we're done. We join it to the domain and then deploy it, and we're done. And so with things like Office, for instance, we have licenses in different chunks. Like we have 50 licenses, through our volume licensing. So we set them up in different campuses, and we'll put the package out there on the local domain controller, so it's a quicker install, and then push it from our central admin, our server that has PDQ installed on it. So PDQ has made our lives a lot simpler, easier to do software deployments. They make it even simpler by they have a huge YouTube channel with all sorts of training that you can go through and watch and learn how to create your own packages. This is a lot simpler for us than something like we used to use Case, and Case was very expensive and very complicated. And so this was just simplified our lives, made it a whole lot quicker because the packages are already built for most part, and we just go get them. And so you might be thinking, well, that sounds great. I don't know if $225 is too expensive. If you have one admin, it depends on how many admins you have. Or if you want to do the enterprise level version, it's $450. But one of the things I want to say, this company has some credibility. These are some of their customers. I noticed a few on here: HBO, BMW, the PGA, Major League Baseball's on here, and this goes on and on and on. So they have over 5,000 customers that they have listed on their site. So they're not just some fly by the seat of their pants type of company. They actually are pretty legitimate guys, and they're very helpful. When we couldn't get our information off of YouTube, we've tweeted them, we've emailed them, and they're, just like I called them and said, hey, can you make a video for CITRT? They were more than happy to do that, and they even said they wouldn't drink beer on their video for us. So, because that's normally what they do when they make their videos. But they were like, y'all are the church, so we'll abstain. I appreciate that. So the last thing I want to show you is just the difference. Oh man, is this gonna have to go again? Shame on my finger here. Let's watch this again. So the next thing I want to show you real quick is the difference between the free, the pro, and enterprise. The main thing for the enterprise is there's a bigger package library, and so with the pro you can schedule. With the pro you can still schedule deployments, but you see there's like 3 more things down here with the enterprise level. But one of the biggest things for the enterprise that I would say that would make it worthwhile, and this is just if you're really not, I don't want to say lazy, but you just have better things to do, it'll automatically update your packages. So when Flash updates every 2 weeks like it does, or Java, opening up gaping security holes in your network, then it'll automatically update that package, and if you had a schedule going, you could just automatically push that out. Of course, I do recommend testing these in a small environment, testing these deployments before pushing them out, but it makes it very simple and, in my opinion, not too expensive to manage your software deployment and software updating. And that's it for PDQ.
2, testing, there we go. Shall I wait to go to 0? I'll take the 5 seconds. Hey everybody, my name is Mark Moreno with C&M Support Services. How everybody's doing? Ready to go home? Not yet, right? Nobody wants to go home yet, right? We're going to talk to you today a little about a new hybrid IT solution. Who knows that 365 is eventually going to rule the world, right? Especially for the way it is priced in this space. It really is amazing. All due diligence and honesty, I didn't do any 365 until the beginning of this year. I didn't think it was up to speed. I didn't think that the licensing was up to speed. But when you look at the enterprise SKUs, it's obviously that we are headed that direction and that cloud rules. I went to an event a few weeks ago on the Microsoft campus. I had some involvement with this company that we're going to talk about, Zynstra. I actually spoke to them about a year ago as they've been developing this solution. And it is, in my opinion, groundbreaking and a phenomenal new solution that I think is going to rule, especially in this space. When we look at the dilemma today, SMB IT dilemma, do I build, pay to build, or go to cloud? Well, obviously everybody's going to the cloud, but there's still going to be something left of your IT infrastructure no matter how cloud-based you are. You've got to have file servers, you've got to have Active Directory, and you know, we're very video intensive in this space. We do a lot of production. You still need something IT-wise, but that still has a lot of management tied to it. It can still have a lot of overhead, a lot of manpower, a lot of less quality of life because you're going to have to deal with things at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and nobody really wants to do that. My focus this year has been quality of life, and quite frankly, I think this is going to be a good way for you guys to achieve the same thing. What you want is worry-free IT, pay as you go. What I also think people are looking for here is not just worry-free IT, but remote data that has integrated control, and you guys, again, not going to have to worry about it. Zynstra is on-premises, hybrid IT, and I think it's going to provide you the best of the both worlds. You still, at your on-site, you need to have firewall. You're going to have network that's behind the firewall, deal with LAN performance. You're going to have on-site data, and in the cloud, those solutions are going to be highly elastic, mobile. You can run them from anywhere easily, and off-site DR. Who wants to have to take tapes and drives home and figure out how to do backups and this and that, have a complex system? It should be automatic. It should be simple and kind of, I don't worry about it, that's just happening. And then if your data center floods because a sprinkler goes off or who knows what, I don't want to worry about it. I want to hit a button and have everything up and running and ready to rock and roll. The Zynstra company, just to give you a little bit of background about these guys, it's a UK company. The core of the company, personnel-wise, are founded an organization in Bath in the UK in 2011. They exited that company with $425 million after the sale. They have secured private VC funding, and in their second round, they have raised over $8.4 million for deploying this technology here in North America, and man, they are going to town. They launched an initial range of their cloud appliances here in 2014, and they are gaining significant traction. The event that I met these guys at and saw where they're at now is geared specifically around SMB IT, which is really, I think, what most of us are. And let me tell you, they are the talk of the town, per se. The way the Zynstra product works, it's a series of appliances. It's all based on HP hardware. Converged, virtualized, resilient, autonomic. It is really the most hands-off solution relative to managing what's still on your premises when you're cloud-based and need that hybrid. I think that's out there. Cloud backup, cloud DR, cloud integration, cloud. Everything that causes you grief is off-site. The management interface, I'm not a huge Meraki fan, but I think we can all admit, man, their interface is kind of Apple sexy and pretty cool. They have done the same thing. Can I use those words here at a Roundtable event? Sorry. Anyways, management is in the cloud. It is enterprise class. It's got monitoring and everything built into it. And keep current, i.e., you don't have to worry about patching things. I'm going to go on to the next slide here. This slide talks a little bit about what this product is. Number one, web console. Multi-tiered, health monitoring, role-based administration. You don't have to go into your on-site infrastructure and do that. You can do all this through their interface. Automatic updating. It's auto-configured, it's curated by the Zynstra system, and it's partner managed. So you still have the ability to say what you want and may not want to happen. The backup is phenomenal in this product because when this product is placed and set, what you still have in your internal cloud, we'll call it, whether it be directory controllers, if you're using church management systems with SQL that is still on site, whatever is still a part in your line of business, the solution comes with the ability for your infrastructure to be sent up to Azure automatically. This is also, and this is a big thing, this is not something that you buy. This is just like 365. It is operational OpEx. You pay a flat fee per month. It includes your licensing. It is almost a full network solution in one payment out of the box. No more going to your senior management team and saying, I need big chunks of money, at least for where this fits in that side, that space. Office 365, this thing was built and designed to work with Office 365. It doesn't matter whether you're using DirSync, ADFS, none of that. Whatever you want to do, it works, and it just works great. The system has resiliency because many of us here have very high uptime requirements, low SLA or high SLA, low downtime, can't be down. Whether you start with a small appliance that's designed for 10 users or you go all the way to high enterprise for more than 250 users, they have solutions. Appliance side by side, appliance in multiple geography. In the multi-site space, which many of us are in, guess what? You can have an appliance over there for the servers that need to be on site. The appliances can even fail between each other. And again, if that worst case scenario happens, that something goes down, it is push the fire alarm. Everything on the box moves up to Azure, and guess what? You keep running while the problem gets solved. That might mean a new box. That might mean a new site if you had some kind of disaster. But guess what? Your ability to get people in to fix that disaster and everything still runs because your church back-end office can still run. You can still cut checks. You can do whatever it is that you still need to do. User identity management, there are some other bells and whistles in here, but it's very integrated towards being able to do single sign-on. Single sign-on rules. You don't want users having to remember 2, 3, 4, and 5 passwords. You can present a single solution just like with DirSync and ADFS and 365. Here's my username and password. And when I change it in one place, it changes everywhere else, so you don't worry about passwords leaking outside of the environment and creating security risk. It even has firewall technology built into it. Everybody knows that we're very big in the sonic wall technology, but sometimes you have to figure out where your priorities are dollar-wise. When you need to get started with a solution that still does content filtering, UTM, and so on, that option is available in the software stack that Zynstra provides. We'll handle basic functions inside the network, DHCP and other things. We've had a couple conversations while we're here that if you're running DHCP out of your Windows environment, that's now a user cal based on the newest rendition of the Microsoft licensing agreement. If you need another alternative solution, guess what? You can push it all your IP addresses from this device. Firewall, AV, intrusion prevention, like I mentioned, security is all able to do on site. Now, besides these solutions that we've talked about that we can virtualize in this platform, some of you have Linux and very vertical solutions and so what? Guess what? The box is compatible. It uses Zen on the back end. You can have your own series of virtual machines that you can put on here, run them, keep going, one box, one solution, one maintenance point. What I was referencing is that you have platform applications that they can manage and do pretty much everything for you. Your managed apps can also include things like Exchange, SharePoint, or even a line of business application like ACS or one of the other church management systems. You can establish what the rules are and let them manage it. It's hands-off. You get alerts if something goes wrong. And if you have something outside the window, what they manage, it can still be hosted on that box. If it needs additional backup services or things that are outside of this scope, you can still add that to your network and still have the majority of it managed for you. Adding virtual machines, adding users. Do you really want low-end help desk inside of Active Directory users and computers and putting these new accounts in the system? Probably not. But if you have a Meraki-style interface where you log in and there's a little window that says add a user, you can have your entry-level help desk add new users, even spin up a new machine, virtual machines, build out a sandbox or something that's going to go into production. The SMB appliances come in multiple sizes through multiple specs. This is kind of an eye chart for you in the back of the room, but you look at 5 to 20 users all the way to 150 to 250 users on premises per where each box lives. It's very, very scalable and like I said, I think ground changing. There are additional appliance options, whether it be resilient SSO, high availability, cloud backup, and DR. Here's one that I know you all will like. What do you do with your 365 data if you want to get it back? This device does reverse backup of your 365 deployment and all that data. So what's in the cloud, guess what? It's automatically synchronizing back to your location. So if and when that day comes, that Microsoft loses data, guess what? You've still got it all. All in all, I'm going to end by saying this is a phenomenal new solution. I'm providing ongoing information about this product. If you come by my desk before you leave, fill out a form. I will send you oodles of information and keep you up to speed on what's coming. That's it.
That's the Knik Glacier in Alaska. That's not my backyard, but I wish it was. Travis and I were up there last month helping one of our clients up there. Let me get my show. I did. Actually, took a little trip, four-wheeling trip up to the glacier. So I'm Elliott Wood. I am Director of Information, we can't really figure out my title, but it's something like Director of Infrastructure and Development at Solerant. So my responsibility is basically working on our architecture and process and then serving our clients as well. So a little bit quickly about Solerant. We are focused on improving ministry performance for our clients. The primary way we do that at this point is serving our clients in their technology needs and helping them achieve their ministry goals by taking some of the technology off their plates, much like most of you guys are doing for the rest of your staffs. At this point, we have 3 help desk staff that come in every day and work in the service desk, and about 11 field engineers and senior engineers that are out either assigned, some of them are assigned to particular clients, plus the 6 guys that show up at Second Baptist every morning. We're managing, outside of Second Baptist, about 3,000 Windows and Mac devices, plus phones and security and network and that kind of thing, and average probably about 125 tickets a day of user-generated tickets, plus those that are automated from our knock alerting systems and so forth. So just to get an idea in the room, first, when we started thinking about what we might want to talk about, it occurred to me as I was looking at some of the threads that a lot of what was being asked is, how are you dealing with on-call and after-hour service? How do you keep track of things? And obviously there's a wide range of people in the room that are serving their churches. Some are a single-guy shop, some are a volunteer. How many of you have had issues with stuff falling through the cracks? What about users that have unrealistic expectations of when or how their issues will be resolved? Nobody struggles with that, right? No unrealistic expectations. Somebody said in one of the seminars yesterday, or breakout rooms, you know, yesterday's miracle is tomorrow's expectation. So, you know, you come through for somebody today, and tomorrow they expect that that's the bar. So what about keeping multiple members of your team in the loop? Has that been an issue for any of you guys? Assigning and coordinating triage and prioritization of requests. Is that a challenge for anybody? Squeaky wheels are getting the grease. Users call your personal cell phone first. Nobody does that, right? No? Okay. Mine never rings, but I have it turned off. So even at night or on weekends, even for totally non-emergency reasons, you know, Doran's cat video probably comes in at 10:30. I can't watch the little cats. So how many of you are one-man shop? Hands. Okay. How many have more than one person involved in your team? Okay, so it's about half and half. How many of you already have some sort of ticketing system in place? That's about everybody. That's great. So the rest of you still dealing with your personal email box or something? So our goal here is to help a person focus on their mission by removing the technical hurdles. And part of our ministry day to day is being someone who can help calm down the situation. We want to get them back to work quickly. It's frustrating that they're not able to do whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing, and we want to love them well in the process. So one of the things at Solerant, we focus on churches and ministries, and we want to try and help that person and love them through the process of whatever tech issue they're having. So some of the practical ways we do that is we start with a good documentation. We want to start with some form of documentation. It can be a Google or an Excel spreadsheet. It can be a more interactive database. I don't care what it is, but you need it documented. And all of the data, all the details, every IP address, every system, serial numbers, how it's all connected together. It needs to be organized for easy access. You need to be able to get to it when your server is down. You need to be able to get to it when the internet is down. Because if you're troubleshooting the internet that's down and you can't get to it, it's a problem. For some people, documenting everything may seem like a little job security problem. I got it all up here. They still need me. And you'd be surprised, I think, at the number of situations we've come into that the main reason we got called was because somebody didn't have any documentation and they kept not being able to show their director that, yes, I know what's here. It's also it's a matter of stewardship. It's a stewardship issue of your network and your time and your church's resources. So the other thing is that we want to make a place for the narrative. So all that granular IP address stuff, that's all important. But what about the process and the people and the how-tos? So one of the ways that we love our clients and our users is to make sure we're notating their preferences and their special needs. And this pastor has a special set of software that he has to have and all of that kind of thing. And he likes to be reached this way, and you're not going to get him on his cell phone because he doesn't use that. You need to call his assistant. Those kinds of little bits and pieces of information go in a wiki or a Word document or whatever works for you. Maybe you've got a knowledge base or an internal knowledge base database and that works for you. But all those kinds of little descriptive things that fit together. Implement a ticketing system. I saw a lot of hands go up. I'm not going to go deep into this, but have some way to track it. And one of the things that ticketing does is it helps us show users care by diligently tracking the issue to resolution. If it's just going back and forth in email, then we're likely to drop things through the cracks. Is that loving our end users? Not really, because then that shows them that we've forgotten. And just like we're all looking at church management software to help our congregational care people make sure they follow through with that person that's in the hospital, or make sure that our student ministries follows through with the new family that just showed up with a 16-year-old that wants to get involved in student ministries, and we want to make sure that the old index card that we used to stick in their mailbox didn't fall through the cracks, so we're going to put it in Fellowship 1 or CCB or something and make sure that, yes, indeed, that person follows up with them, that there's a task on their dashboard. We're going to love our clients by making sure that that issue that they have stays on a dashboard until it's resolved. We want to make sure that our clients, our users, know how to open their tickets. Email, portal, phone, whatever your process is, make sure they know how to do it. It's really frustrating for people to get help if they don't really know how to do it. They get their hand slapped. Well, you were supposed to send that in as an email to help at. And they're like, well, I didn't know that. So define a priority matrix. And this is one of the things we've added this year to our process is how do we set that expectation of how we set a priority. So everything's always an emergency with every user all the time. Well, if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. If everyone's above average, nobody's above average. So how do you do that? And we do it pretty much by a matrix of saying, what's the impact, how many people are affected, and what's the severity? Is the system down, or is it just need a workaround? Is one printer down and we've still got 2 sitting right next to it that they can print? That's a lower priority issue than all of the printers are down, right? So assign your tickets. We have a saying around our office that if it's not assigned, it's not done. And we want to eliminate the cherry picking. We want to make sure that only the nice people aren't the ones getting served and taken care of, and that we're not avoiding the users that happen to be a little bit more high maintenance. So we want to put it on the schedule as well in assigning it. We want to make sure it has a time and a place and a person that's going to do it. We want to set up an on-call process. None of us like getting that call. So if we have multiple people on our team and we can set up a process and a schedule, rotating people through, even coming up with a no-call schedule or an off-call schedule, we have our system set up so that when people call in, our answering service will say, is this an emergency? Do I need to wake somebody up and have them call you back? That lets the person know what's really on the hook if they say it's an emergency. There's not somebody actually sitting there waiting for the call. We want to communicate empathy. We really want to show our empathy to our end users, let them know that we care and we understand what they're going through. And whenever possible, we want to communicate to them in person or verbally. Last couple of points here: get over the shoulder as quickly as possible. Get into that remote session, or go see them and let them show you what the problem is, because observation is our best course of action. And then finally, we want to define our complete and closed. And our definition is that we're not complete on the ticket until the client has agreed with us that the issue is resolved. So we don't want to just fire off a, hey, we made the change, complete. Well, did we complete it or not? So anyway, that's my time. So, thank you.
Check. Hi, I'm Daryl Hunter. I'm with the Mirazon group. I've been coming to the Roundtable for quite a while. One of my favorite things about the Roundtable is flexibility. We talk about it every single year. And I know I'm kind of off the side, but I just wanted to make sure we're focusing on the slides. So since then we're being really flexible, I thought I'd change my title. And we're going to do a slightly different thing today. Hi, Jason. So, no, not really. That would be really bad. So we're going to talk about why the .local domain needs to die. Show of hands. Active Directory domains. How many of you all are using .local domains? How many of you all know that the .local domain could potentially be a problem for you? So this is good information. Excellent. Let's talk with a little bit of history. Let's try not to drop my root beer flute. So pre-Active Directory, right? So a long time ago, let's go back to the 90s, maybe before that. There were lots of options to handle directory services. Directory services being a single place to have usernames, right? A single place to handle authentication. You had mostly NetBIOS domains in the Windows world. You had single label domains. That would be a domain that does not have a dot. Some of you may remember this from back in the NT4 days. Some of you may still have this. I know at least one of you does, because he came up and talked to me a little bit earlier. I have some customers with this as well. Active Directory, when it came out, about 15 years ago, they started de-emphasizing the single label domains. They started explicitly denying single label domains with Server 2008 R2. The good news about anything that has to do with single label domains and .local domains is it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You've been given some really great misdirection from Microsoft over the years. In fact, one of the cool things about Mirazon is we have a whole lot of Microsoft documentation. We have all the MOC, the Microsoft official curriculum. We have those big, giant Server Unleashed Bible books. You know what I'm talking about? The big, thick books, and most likely Mark Manassi was one of the authors of it, right? You probably have one or have read one in the past. They suggested .local for years. They suggested you do this is real, this is reality. They said to use .local. In reality, they suggested to use a disconnected namespace, a different namespace, but the index of the book says .local. In fact, Mark Manassi said in his book, in print, I'm sorry, Mark, if you ever watched this on YouTube, please don't hurt me. He said if you want to be with it, you're going to name your Active Directory domain something .pri. There was a suggestion that .pri would be one of these standards that made its way around the internet. There are knowledge base articles still active as of right now that still give you misdirection information about using .local. They're out there. I Googled them. I have a whole bunch of them. In fact, I wrote a 4-page manifesto for the engineers in our organization, help explaining this situation because it's so confusing. And in there, I listed all the knowledge base articles. And I got called out on a few of them. And then they went to click the button and were like, ooh. For small business people, I'm glad that Mark brought this up. For people that still use SBS or have in the past, or potentially have migrated to using Server Essentials today, it still forces you to use a .local domain. There's ways around that, but still today, active software, .local. Only in recent years has Microsoft moved away from this. They started moving away from the contoso.local, right, your local domain, to a prefix, something.domain.com. In your world, that might be corp.domain.com or ad.domain.com or bob.domain.com. I don't care. Something. So here's the problem. The problem is DNS resolution, right? We're at CITRT. The problem is always DNS, right? It is. It's true. So you can handle that with split brain, right? We can deal with that by having a .local forward lookup zone and a .com forward lookup zone. You can deal with the prefix. You can handle things with DNS. You can handle things with Macs. I think inside this group, we talk about rendezvous, now bonjour, for years, and the whole .local issue, right? You have Active Directory domain.local. You have these Macs that use this great discovery protocol for MDNS and all this awesome stuff that Apple does, which is really, really great, but it conflicts. Their .local and your .local are different. Greek, Hebrew, right? It's not going to work properly. Here's where the real rub is. Right now we're dealing with a .local issue with domain names, right? You have SSL certificates. What you may remember about SSL certificates is that they have a subject name and a subject alternative name. The subject name is going to be something like www.domain.com. But there could be subject alternative names in there. So if you take time to look at your SSL certificates, you guys may know this, maybe you don't. There's a way to have an alternate domain name inside of your certificate. That way it authenticates it properly. So when you bring up Chrome or Safari or IE or whatever, you get the green button. It says, yay, good website. This all changed in 2011. This is 2014. 3 years ago, this became a big, significant issue. There's a committee, people like us, right, a lot smarter than us, maybe smarter than us because of what we're getting ready to get into. They decided that in 5 years, they're going to stop letting you use a non-public top-level domain for your SSL certificates. 2011, 5 years ago, that's a long time from now, right? Well, you know, now it's 2 years away. It actually gets worse. D-Day is November 1, 2015. That's when they decided that any certificate that has a non-public top-level domain, like a domain.local, will no longer be recognized. You can't buy it from GoDaddy or whoever you buy your certificates from. What do you know about certificates? They have at least a 1-year expiry. So you have to buy that certificate in case you still have to deal with that by November 1st, 2014. It's a week. Right? Right? Yeah, wheels turning in the back, right? These certificates that you may have, because you may have bought one for 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 or 10-year window, they're going to be forcibly revoked in 2016. There was a bonus in here. I was going to talk about it, but I'm kind of running out of time. But there's a bonus. For those of you dealing with certificates, there are 2 ways to encrypt your certificate, SHA-1 and SHA-2. SHA-1 is old and busted. SHA-2 is the new hotness. But what's cool about SHA-1 is it's all going to go away, and all of your browsers are all going to break on all of your old line of business applications starting now. Next year, you might go to https:// awesome public application that you run for your church management system using a SHA-1 certificate, and Chrome won't let you go there. They'll make you click the yes, I'm sure, to go there. Little research, SHA-1, SHA-2, go Google it. Dr. Google's pretty smart. So here's the reality. You can no longer get public SSL certificates with .local as a subject alternative name. You got a week. You can do it, but you really can't, right? Because you're here and you're traveling, and you're going to go home, you're going to play with your spouse, you're going to play with your kids, you're going to go to work, and you're going to have a million help desk tickets to deal with because you were here for a week. So now, you have to use an internal certificate authority. This isn't bad, right? You can build an internal certificate authority, but you have to have a plan. You got to have a plan to handle trusted routes, right? You have to make sure that these Macs, these non-domain joined machines, bearing your own device networks. How many of you all have a BYOD policy in place or is heading that way? Right? It's a non-domain joined computer. So if you're using an internal certificate authority to issue a certificate to .local or .inside or .internal or whatever you're doing, it'll be great for a Windows-based machine that's joined to your domain. For a Mac or a BYOD, you need a process. That process might be bring me your computer times 800. They may be investing money into an MDM solution, some sort of a mobile device management solution that'll help you with your mobile devices or maybe with your laptops, right? So there's things that you need to think through of how to deal with your domain name. Remember that domain name that you put in place, remember, 15 years ago, right? So here's how you move forward, right? Here's the crux of the matter. How do you move forward? Do nothing. You can do absolutely nothing and ignore me and walk out the door and have no problem whatsoever. True, you can do that. But you have to find a process to deal with these SSL certificates. You have to be able to handle non-domain join machines. You have to be able to handle mobile devices. This is a real big deal when you start dealing with link and exchange. They have specific requirements for web services to do that. This is not a link and exchange process. This is a SSL certificate process as it relates to your Active Directory domain. You can do a full migration. This is my favorite. You bring up a brand new forest with brand new domain, with brand new forest to forest trusts, and you migrate all your users and all your servers and all your computers. And like Gene Apple talked about this morning from stage, they're all going to hate you, right? Because it's going to be really tough. It's a hard process. You have to make sure you're with it. You make sure you're ready for it. Or you rename your domain. We're all smart people. We know we can rename domains, right? Almost nobody can rename a domain. Almost nobody. Because if you actually do the research and figure out how the program works, if you have Exchange 2000, 2007, 2010, 2013, you cannot rename your domain if it exists. If you happen to have Exchange 2003, you can. Isn't that weird? Exchange version in the middle, you can rename, blah, blah, blah. If you have a link, you have OCS, you have LCS, you have legacy SMS for patching out management, patching out updates. If you have some versions of SharePoint or SCUM, you can't rename your domain name either. So here's the deal. Domain names matter. You have to figure it out. You have to have a plan to move forward. We can talk about it. You can find me over here. Bring me Diet Coke, peanut, M&Ms. We can talk. I'm sorry I made you cry.